Hey, it's Jeremy with Elevate Body Fitness Professional. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you 3 tips to building a bigger chest, so stay tuned. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel or if you've been following the channel and haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do that now. Hit the little red subscribe button and be sure to ding the little bell next to it so that you don't miss out on any new content that I release. Okay, the first tip I'm going to give you is body positioning and form. And what I mean by that is make sure that you keep your back placed flat up on the bench whenever you're performing a chest exercise. You know, I see a lot of people like on the flat bench where they'll arch their back up like a lot, and it looks really amazing that you're able to do that if you're trying out for the Olympics because you're able to bend your spine that much. But, you know, for trying to grow your chest, I don't think it's going to be that beneficial for you. So try to keep your back placed flat up against the bench whenever you're performing an exercise, or, you know, if you're standing, that doesn't really apply. But for anything that is going to use a bench, make sure you're flat. Number 2, on body positioning and form, if you're using a barbell, make sure that your hands are placed in the right area. You know, don't go too far wide. You know, don't come too far in. You know, find a good placement for your hands. You know, for my good rule of thumb, for what I do is I keep my hands just a little more than shoulder width apart. You know, I'll put like a 90-degree angle in my upper arm and lower arm and kind of place them up on the bar. You know, right there. Another thing with body positioning and form is make sure that you're not getting too much pressure on your shoulders. You know, it's really easy to do that, you know, on certain exercises. You're not keeping your shoulders back, you're placing too much emphasis on your shoulders, so make sure that whenever you're like on a bench, you know, your shoulders are back and then you're pushing with your chest. So do that. Also, don't do too fast of reps. Make sure that you're taking, you know, your time getting good contractions on your reps, but that's going to kind of get into the second tip, so I don't want to go too much into that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you kind of what I mean in doing this. Keep my back placed flat, hands right up on the bar, you know, a little more than shoulder width apart, making sure that I come down, and make sure you touch your chest whenever you come down for your concentric part of the contraction, and then extend all the way up. But don't leave too much time at the top. Come down, tapping your chest, extending up. You know, I see a lot of people that they will actually, you know, come down but not very far. Like there'll still be like a 6-inch gap between the bar and their chest, and then, you know, they just put up like 350 pounds and they're jumping around like they accomplished something. I'm like, no, you didn't accomplish anything other than showing us how far you could keep the bar from actually going from your chest. So don't be that guy who, you know, thinks that you just set some kind of new world record because you lifted a lot of weight but didn't even go down all the way. You didn't get a good extension. You know, you're not really helping yourself, and I don't want to see that. First tip is body positioning, hand placement, getting good extension on your chest, and making sure you're squeezing your chest whenever you're doing the exercise. Okay, so tip number 2 is making sure to keep enough time under tension on your chest and also progressively overloading your chest. What I mean by that, time under tension, is how much tension is actually placed on your chest throughout your exercise. So that's where I was talking about not going too fast, you know, keeping enough tension on your chest throughout your exercise so that your fibers are actually breaking down, they're being placed under stress, and now whenever they start tearing, you're getting those micro tears from all the tension, then that's whenever, you know, the rebuilding and repair process takes place, which is actually what causes the muscular growth. So, you know, don't be going way too fast. Make sure you're getting good, slow, and keeping a good mind-muscle connection whenever you're doing, you know, your chest exercises, you know, because that's going to be key to building a bigger chest. Also, progressive overload. So what'll happen over time is that, as your muscles adapt to the amount of stress that it's been placed under, they've already grown a certain size. Now they're going to start adapting to that amount of stress, that load. So if you're not, if you're not changing something, if you're not changing the amount of weight that you're lifting or the amount of reps that you're doing, your volume, then your muscles are adapted, and they're not being constantly triggered, they're not being placed under more stress, so that they know that they need to keep growing, and adapting to more of a stimulus that you've placed them under. Not saying you have to go up in weight or reps each week, but also don't just stick to the same amount like every single week that you're in the gym, because you're not keeping enough added stress on your chest to get it to grow. One thing that I'll do is to keep the confusion, keep my chest confused so that it will keep growing, is I may do like a high volume set one week or a high weight set, or workout the next week, so that it's constantly changing, and I'm constantly pushing myself to go up either in weight or amount of reps. Like I don't just hit a number in my head and stop. You go until you can't lift another weight. That's what's going to cause the growth the fastest. And I'm sure you want it as fast as possible. I know I do. I don't just come in here thinking, I really don't care if it happens fast or not. Let's just take our time. We don't want to grow our muscles too fast. Said no one ever. So make sure that you're placing enough time under tension and you're progressively overloading your chest so that it can grow. And I'm going to go ahead and show you, kind of what I mean, a good speed. So this, again, back's flat. Let's go up, keeping enough tension on our chest on the way down on the concentric part of the contraction, and just squeezing up. So a good pace is just something that's really good and controlled. So that's just too fast. That's not, I can't really keep the tension on my chest whenever I'm doing that. So you're just going up, getting good clean contractions, and coming down and making sure I'm coming down all the way. I'm not like coming down right here and thinking I actually did something that's awesome. So go down and extend up, not leaving too much time at the top and not leaving too much time at the bottom. Getting good slow contractions and squeezing your chest throughout the exercise. And that's how you're going to get your chest to be placed under enough tension and stress so that it'll begin to tear down, and eventually it'll lead to growth. You'll get growth development through your chest. All right, that's it for tip number 2. Okay, so tip number 3 is making sure that you hit every part of your chest, that you're not neglecting any part. Remember, we have our lower chest, our upper chest, our middle chest, outer chest, inner chest. Like your chest is such a huge, huge muscle group, so don't exclude any part of it. We want a good, nice development throughout our whole chest. I see some people that are in and out of the gym every week, and I don't ever even see them even touching their either upper chest or middle chest, the inner part of their chest. And that's probably why they don't have good chest development. So make sure that you're not excluding any part of your chest. We want good development. If you want a good machine where you can hit every different part of your chest, is a cable system. You can leave the cables at the top, and you can just start at the top and go down. You can, for the top, you can squeeze the lower part of your chest to get your lower chest good and stimulated, and make sure that we're going up in either weight or reps, that we're not just getting used to a certain weight and staying there. You can drop the handles, mid-level and target the inner part of your chest. You can drop the handles all the way to the bottom and come up and make sure that you're getting good squeeze, in the upper part of your chest. So there's so many different variations, in using cables for parts of your chest. You can do decline dumbbells, you can do decline bench press, you can do, You can do dips, you know, to hit the lower part of your chest. You know, for hitting the inner part, you know, you can get like on a hammer strength machine, sit sideways and come up and press up across, you know, doing each side to each arm. You can put a weight in the palms of your hands and press it up. You know, that targets the inner part of your chest. So there's so many different variations, you know, in order to hit the different parts, you know, and in our videos as we go by, you know, I'm going to be showing you a lot of different exercises that, you know, I've started doing over my time. I've picked up on. For tip number 3, just make sure that you're not neglecting anything. You're hitting every part of your chest so that you can get a nice, good developed chest, and that it looks really good whenever you rip your shirt off there and everybody's staring at you and looking good. Okay, that wraps up our video on our 3 tips on how to build a bigger chest. Please, I encourage you to not neglect any of those tips that I've given you. If you incorporate all those, I promise you, you will be on your way to building a bigger chest. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the little box below. Help me out. Be sure to hit the little thumbs up, that little like button. That helps me and the channel grow. And until next video, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.